Cool. Welcome everybody. Sorry about that. Yeah, Facebook was crashing everything. I just gave up on it. Just gave up on it. Not even going to bother with it. It's lost. It's horrible streaming platform, but it is what it is. Hope you all are having a great one. I'm good now. I think we should be good on audio. Can you guys hear me now? Test test poop poop 3434. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So we'll get into the Fast and Furious of stuff. Falls Lake. This is just from my own personal stuff. April 12th, CCKF tournament. Weather-wise, let's hit that up. Weather was like in the 60s. Water temperature was where? Weather. Oh gosh, no. Why you got that? 2025 April. Okay. All right. So yeah, started off cold, got pretty warm, 30s into the 50s. Wind was kind of crazy midday after the tournament, but during the tournament, wind was fairly good, 9 miles per hour. I had some pretty hard gusts, but nothing crazy. And the direction was going Willy Wonkus, as we can see on screen. There was a couple times I'm sitting in a cove and the wind is coming into the cove, and I go back out to Main Lake and the wind is going straight through Main Lake. So it was kind of weird. But Falls Lake, thought it was going to be a pre-spawn type of bite. It was definitely not there yet. We placed second. I guess I have to throw that data in there. We placed second, and yeah, we'll just talk about what was working and what wasn't. Yeah, yeah, it was definitely. I would say it was a cold morning, and then the afternoon with the sun up, it definitely warmed it up. But it was definitely a cold morning. So we launched over at Barton's Creek. And we didn't really move too far. I think the furthest we went from Barton's Creek is this cove right here, where we ran into Dan and Paul. But yeah, that was the farthest we went. I really should have went up this cove, but I didn't. But yeah, this is the furthest we went. So we didn't go too far off of the. We didn't go too far away from the launch, which was good. Practice-wise, we definitely searched this area. We went up here, searched this area, and we searched a little bit of this side. And from practice, what Sean and I noticed was shaky head and spinnerbait. That finesse shaky head. I was on a 1/8 ounce shaky head, so and spinnerbait. I think he was throwing probably a 3/8 to a 1/2 ounce spinnerbait, and he was targeting wood and rock. I was just targeting clay banks. I didn't think they were on rock, so I was focusing on clay banks. Tournament day, we get there. Funny story, super funny. I get out the house around 5:20, 5:23. It's an hour from my house to get here to Barton's Creek. I messaged Mitch at 5:23 saying I'm probably going to ETA at 6:23. Should I stay home? He responds saying, nope, come on. And I persisted to speed my ass all the way there. I get to this part of the launch at 6:14 and hand Mitch the money because he was right here at 6:15. And then I come down here and get everything set up to launch. So, yeah, it was a pretty hectic morning. But I definitely turned that hour drive into a 53-minute drive, which was good. I don't encourage speeding, so y'all be safe on the road. I did that on my own accord. So that was my morning. I think I launched right at Lines In. Pat was somewhere out here too. Mitch was also launching. He was somewhere out here, but it was definitely a eventful morning. We then proceeded to head up this way, chatting with Pat. I think we were somewhere on this point because Pat wanted to go check this point or that point. I can't remember. One of these points, my crankbait got locked up. And then as I'm reeling the fish in, it came off, which was crazy. And then in one of these coves, I threw a shaky head at a stick. I think it was this one. I threw a shaky head at a tree that was up, and as soon as it hit the water, the fish had it. And by the time I caught up to my slack line, because I was still getting my morning mechanics back worked in, that fish spit it. So, already missed 2 fish in the first 28 minutes of the tournament. Just a heads up. So, just to give you guys some contour lines of what I was looking at and where I was heading, it's down here. You guys can see here's the launch. Here's the 2 points I was just talking about. This is the area that became golden, and I'll go over some reasons why I think that it was like that, but I don't know. It was pretty weird, and we'll look at some video from it too. So, during practice, and I came out here on practice with Sean a while ago, but I do know that the creek channel comes in here, butts onto this point, and then comes up hard, like off of this area, and butts up to this point as it goes out. So it's like a nice little S-turn. iBoat kind of shows it, where you have this coming there, and then you have that like little whoosh here. So those are the 2 creek channels. And what I noticed during practice, I didn't go back and check it, but normally when I fish this area, there's either a lot of fish here, or a lot of fish here. I didn't see any fish here, nor did I see any fish here. Then on the other side, there's normally fish here. If they're not there, they're going to be on this side. Just the way that, you know, the S-turn works and how fish set up around main highways and where they finish up. And that was one of the things I definitely saw, that it was a barren waste out here. While the wind is coming from my back, coming into the main lake, I definitely noticed that. So, okay, yeah, that's still going. Make sure there we go. Make sure on YouTube that's there. Am I still streaming? Yeah, YouTube is still being streamed too. So I think YouTube is being streamed too. I might be wrong. Let me go back in there and check. All right, yeah, YouTube, you're good? No, YouTube is not good. Okay, YouTube is good. Cool. All right, had to refresh that. Close that chat. You guys are up. So, noticing that, I actually just made a detour and came down into this pocket. Spoiler, I caught all my winning fish in this pocket. I might have caught one other fish down here, but all my winning fish came out of that one little pocket. This one pocket, and like just this. That's it. Just all that. I think I might have got something there, but everything I caught came right there. Concluding that, I think the reason why those fish are there, the cold front hit, the wind was blowing this way. They kind of wanted the warmer water. They didn't want to get that new cold windy water, and they probably dipped off here where the water was warm. By the time I got there, they were probably still there. Could have been the shad spawn in there. I don't know. Some people noticed that they had shad spawns around the map, around the lake. So that also could have played in. I'm not 100% sure, but what I do know is that there were at least 12 to 13 fish in here, caught and missed. So day starts off. We come around this point. I think we get 2 back to back. So I'll get to that point right here. I think that was yeah.
Remember explaining this to Jayway at one point.
I think it was like when Banana was asking me a question about how I'm working the bait. Oh yeah, so that.
We all get into it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, they're monthlies. They're fun. They're definitely fun. I would yeah, just make sure you're following his socials. Once it goes live, I'll probably post it. Just remember, you got to go on the shop VLAT, purchase something. I think at minimum 5. Remember explaining this to Jayway at one point.
You got a job offer back in the 50s or 60s, I think, XD.
Remember explaining this to Jay.
I'm impatient.
You got a job offer back in the 50s, or you got a job offer.
Yeah, man.
Banana Sack 1 says, are you bouncing that on the bottom or
there we
trying
go.
to keep it off the bottom?
So, and that was
cold front. They're going to be bottom oriented, cover oriented.
Yep. So, and that was one of the thought processes that I had coming into it with the cold front,
Just
is
like
that just slow and low and slow.
you want to keep them. You want to keep them like on the bottom. After a cold front, you want to take it slow.
Travel_buddy says.
So, first thing I did was go finesse. Second thing, just low and slow.
Fucked up. Get off. Nope, 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 in the boat.
There we go. So I think that's a 15 and a half.
We just.
And then we get him in.
Where is it?
It's 1979.
Yep. We get him in, and then we throw again and catch another one.
Spotted bass, largemouth.
Banana Sack 1 says, all right, mods add fish to counter.
Oh, I got you. Banana, are you not a mod? I added it.
Travel_buddy says, I'm almost carrot.
Yep.
Banana Sack 1 says,
So-
I am just a turbo.
So I messed up. That fish was definitely getting eating the heck out of that bait while I was typing on the phone in the boat. So yeah, he was a bleeder too, because I definitely hit a gill.
1979.
All right, so pretty much I was catching them all and up and down there, and then
And when you come out in the morning to brush your teeth and you put water down, it had to be.
so I think I did a reset right here. Yeah, so here I got snagged and did a reset. So pretty much what I did is just come on back. So I went out here, and then I started coming back, and I followed up everything with a wacky rig. I felt that if the shaky head was grabbing them off the bottom pretty well, the wacky rig would also do the same thing. But I don't know, something about a wacky rig and bass. I don't understand why it's more appealing to them for whatever reason, but that was the process. I already had it in my head that I was going to be doing shaky head. If I'm going to be using a bottom bait like a Texas rig or a shaky head, I'm going to probably have a wacky rig also. Wacky rig just catches them. I can't explain it. I'm pretty sure there's science behind it, but I can't explain it. So that was the mindset, and that was the game plan. So going, I think it was like fish 5 or 6. I think 6 was our big one. Coming back with that wacky rig. Let me see if I can find that clip. Yeah, and there she is, the 18. So running the same line that I already ran after the reset, just with a wacky rig. And to explain the bite that I was getting, like when the shaky head was on the bottom, it would be a bounce, lift up, and then something has it. With the wacky rig, it was, I would let it get to the bottom, and then I'll start waving it towards me. So it'll be cast, wave, let it hit the bottom, wave. And every time that I pick it off the bottom and it does a couple of waves, that's when it gets hit. Or when it just hits the water and is falling, that's when it'll get hit.
That's a heavier one.
Yeah, so right there, it just got to it was on the bottom after the wave, and it picked it up, so it was catching it on that fall. And this is probably one of the bigger ones. I think this is my biggest one.
That's a good one.
I think the 17 was probably fish, 3 or 4. And what we noticed with the 17 was a busted, like really busted tail. Had a really hard cut on the tail. Let me see if I can bring that up while that's loading.
Here's your big mama.
Yep, so yeah, that was the 18. And let's bring over the 17 with the busted tail. Where's she at? There it is. So here we go. I don't know if this fish was post-spawn or pre-spawn, but nonetheless, it had a scarred up tail. Probably a male because it's slender, but the lengthwise 17 and a quarter. I'm pretty sure that if it's a healthy male or it's a small female, but tail was busted, so that really definitely like kind of said, all right, these fish are here. They're going to be here. They're going to be doing their own thing. and just keep casting. And I think, like I said, I think this was either fish like 3, 4, or 5, but fish 6 was our pregnant spawner. As you guys can see, she is swollen. Yeah, she was ready to drop eggs. All right, so that was the main strategy. Once I went through, I think my 4th pass on this just this wall. I think I then left fishing this pocket, moving over here, fishing this bank line, talking to Too Smooth about the YMCA stuff, fishing that pocket. I think we ran into. I think we did fish this pocket. We ran into Mr. Gill here somewhere. We chatted with him. We ran that pocket. Did I ever get to this one? Yeah, I definitely did this one, but yeah, okay, so I did this one thinking that this was these 2 pockets were the ones that Chris normally runs and Original Tech and had really good success. So I ran these. I don't think I even got a bite in there. Maybe I did. I can't remember. Nonetheless, we came out here, and here's where we talked to Mr. Gill. Came around here, and right here on this corner, Mr. Dan and Mr. Paul were fishing. I was fishing this area. I caught 2 here, and I think 2 back here. 1 here, and then 1 on a popper back here. I don't think I went to that one, and then I think we head back because we weren't catching anything. Oh no, I did come back here. I lost one. That was devastating. I came back up here with the wacky rig. It was way up here. When wind changed direction and was blowing, like, I don't know, it was blowing I think it was blowing from right to left. And I threw the wacky in a deep water. So I was in about 14 feet out here, and I threw it into about 8 or 9 feet. And it got picked up, and when I leaned into it, it was heavy. It was just like that 18. It was a very heavy mass that I was hooked into. As I'm reeling up, after I set the hook, it just popped out. And then I'm sitting there sulking, kind of mad. It drifts a little bit closer to the boat, the wacky rig, and then it gets picked up again. While I can see my line, it was like penduluming with a slight tautness to it, and then it just went wave. And I was like, I lifted it up, and there was another one, and that one didn't feel heavy because I leaned into that one and it was light. Reeled. Sure enough, it comes off too. So I lost 2 right here on this point when I said I was going to leave too, and I was kind of salty about that. I do think I should have ran this area again. I ran this in practice. I caught a 16 on this corner, and I think I got a 12 or a 15 here. But with all of the things that transpired, I really should have check this cove too. And hindsight 2020, there were 2 boats here. One was just getting in here at the front, and then one was coming out right over here. But from what I was seeing with the boaters and how I was fishing, I was fishing. So I think, in my opinion, I was fishing cleaner. I was covering a lot of the areas that I wanted to fish very, very methodically, in very surgical with surgical precision. So I really should have ran this one, because if we look at the map, like this, like they're similar. They're very similar. I don't know if, and I was talking to Banana about that, I don't know if the creek channel caused those fish to be there, because if it did, I don't even remember how the contours look over here. But yeah, the creek channel wouldn't touch that. The creek channel goes straight through the middle. There's no whipping and waving like up here, like it has to do here. Like right here, you can see that creek channel comes up, hits that, comes down, hits that, comes up, hits that. Like there's clear indication what the channel is doing. Here it's kind of just wide open. You just have your normal contours with a deep creek channel going through the middle. Damn. But yeah, I think I really should have checked that, because as you guys can see, as it curves in here, it kind of has that like, yeah, we'll just get off because it's deep here, but we can come in shallow on this flat. And definitely think I should have checked that. Something to note going forward. I really do think that would have produced. But we then come back here. I think we caught like one or two, one upgrade actually. We came back and caught one upgrade, the 15 and a quarter that upgraded us from a 1475. And then after that, we came up here. We met up with Mitch and we tried these coves, nothing, and then we headed home. So things I did like the things I wanted to harp on for the most part. I did not practice this. This was never in my practice route. Everything I practiced was out here and moving forward. I didn't even think I was going to launch here, but with my time, my tardiness, I had to come here. This was out of default. I had to fish here because if I would have came here 6:14, getting out the truck, 6:15, giving Mitch the money, I would then have to spend another 20 minutes finding my next ramp because I had no idea where I want to go. I was thinking to go up north and try out Ledge Rock because that's where the tournament was, and launch here and then go straight north and then fish the incoming water. And I would think that a lot of fish that were either staging here would come here or launch Ledge Rock and go straight down to Saddling Creek and run these coves. But like I said, I wasn't going to waste another 20 to 30 minutes after I've given him my money to head that way. So we stayed and tried to make the best of Barton Creek. And I think that was one of the mental things that forced me to say, hey, slow down, figure it out, because you know what should work, just figure out where they are and make it work. So finding that cove early helped out a lot. Finding that cove definitely helped out a lot. So if anybody is still watching, this cove was fire for me. What else did I notice? I didn't get anything on the spinner bait. Like I said, I got one on a crankbait. I got one on a top water. I got majority of my fish either on a shaky head or a wacky rig. Weighted. Wacky rig was with a 1/16 ounce tungsten, and the shaky head was a 1/8 fidget shaky head. Super finesse, matched with a hula stick. And the wacky rig was just Yamamoto Seiko Green Pumpkin. I think the hula stick was Canadian Craw. I really like Canadian Craw and stained water. The water I had wasn't too dark, it wasn't out of the ordinary of Falls Lake. It wasn't washed out. It was just normal Falls Lake color. Green tint, probably like a foot of visibility at most. Really good time fishing. The gentleman who won it, Chris, he was at the Holly Point launch. I think he came in. He didn't camp, but he launched here, so he had to wait until 8 o'clock. And whatever he found, he said he found it in one cove, and it was magic. So, kudos to him. When I launched at Holly Point, I did all my damage in that cove, and I want to say probably up here. But I think this is like this cove right here was freaking money. I was throwing a popper in this cove and I could not get bit. Landing the fish was the problem. I was losing so many big fish that day. But this cove was money for me. This one was all right. But yeah, he launched here and he said that he was in this area catching fish. I think he finished the day with 87 inches. I finished the day with 81. Third place, which was also Mr. Gill, the gentleman that I was talking about that we met over here at this point. He came in third with 79. So top spots were definitely. It seemed like a feast or famine on finding big fish. If you found fish, and then it also sounded like feast or famine if you could not find fish. So, great tournament. It was our second event for CCKF, and our first event was Heiko. I think we placed fifth or sixth. Well, yeah, either fifth or sixth there, and then for this one we placed second. So, Chris, I think, finished second at Heiko and first here. So, I don't think there's going to be any AOI points. There might be AOI points. I don't know. I will have to see. But definitely really good points if there are AOI points for us. I will leave everything open for questions because I wanted to run this for about 45 to an hour. So I made good time doing a debrief. Okay, yeah. So CCKF, no AOIs. Cool. because I know talking to Pat, there were things that we wanted to talk about. So I know he was cranking, and what I found, like I said, when I was cranking, just like we were talking about, definitely points, but I mean, just side scan wise, I wasn't seeing fish, so I assumed everything was on the bottom. I didn't see bait, nor did I see fish, but I did get that bite. So either they were shallow or they were not there. But I don't know. I don't know which points you ran. Mitch said he caught fish here in the morning. I know Sean said he was catching fish in the morning right over here in these rocks. These rocks are money because it's an old, so the old 98 road bed goes all the way across to that point. And right here, it's just like I don't know what it is. The fish just always congregate there before they come into this pocket. And it's really normally really good fishing. So yeah. What's up, Alicon? We're just doing the debrief. I'm trying to understand what made these areas so good. What's up, Loki? So this, we'll say that I'm pretty sure. I think you were fishing this one. I can't remember. I think you were fishing this point. Yeah, I don't know what makes that one so special comparatively. Oh, I can see why it's a sharper drop. That makes sense, because this one doesn't have a sharp drop comparative to that one. Okay, so yeah, that's where you were. You were at the deeper drop, like you said you were. But I never did go into the coves because my brain dumb and I don't know how to use fish finders. Oh man, I mean, the best way to use a fish finder is if you see fish, there's fish there. If you don't see fish, there's no fish there, and just run off of that logic. That's how I do it. So, yeah, if you got side scan, it helps a lot. If you have just down scan in 2D, all you do is just run it, see if you see anything floating off the bottom, looking for bait. If you don't, then no, there's no fish there, and just stick with it. Yeah, this point definitely does not hold a match to this point, because this point has a really steep drop off. Yeah, yeah, though, yeah. Yeah, if you can see bridge pylons, you'll be able to see little white rice grains on side scan. It's hard if you don't know that that's what you're looking at, but when you become accustomed to it, you can definitely see a difference. If you're going across a point and there's any kind of like drop off, you'll see like it'll be a solid. You'll have like solid lines or colors, and then you'll have this weird like empty space. This looks like abyss, and that normally means that that's a drop off. And normally when you see the drop offs, you'll see like little speckles of like little rice grains, and that would normally mean fish on the drop off. It's very clear when you see it, but if you don't know what you're seeing, then it might be crazy talk. Oh, also, Mr. Gill was also explaining that he was only throwing a shaky head and spinnerbait, but he got all his big fish off of a shaky head. So I definitely think that it was a low and slow bite. After Mitch clued me into his plan, I started throwing a spinnerbait north side and kept deep upriver from the bridge, thinking I could get that fish. Oh, so yeah, okay, so you went this way. Yeah, I don't, or did you? Yeah, if you went this way. I think I even said it during practice. I don't think there's going to be fish coming in here yet, since they're not spawning. Like, we clearly know they're not like officially spawning. Like, it's not just the heat of spawn. They're not coming in here to spawn. They might come in here to stage and sit by the wood, but I don't think they're going to go in there to spawn. Not yet, anyway. This area was cut off in my thought process, and when me and Sean came up here and I couldn't even freaking get a bite. Yeah, this area got cut off quick. Yeah. So yeah, it was a good day. I'll say that I do wish I would have explored more options. This cove, I wish I would have tried. Stuff down here, I wish I would have tried, but I didn't want to. I wanted to be as optimal as possible and not leave fish to find fish, and I did that. I think I stuck to my guns very, very well on that thought process, because in the past I've hurt myself leaving fish thinking that, hey, I caught all the fish here. I don't think there's any way you can catch all the fish in an area unless you are like tagging them and making sure that each fish is accounted for, because I would have not expected there to be like 12 plus fish in this cove on multiple passes. Would not even have thunk it. So I was definitely happy for that. For me, at the end of the day, I got 5 in the boat, 4 scoreable. 1 was barely bigger than the crankbait. But yeah, that's good. That means you caught 5 fish during a tournament. That's a really good process to have momentum to go on. I think for CCKF, our next event is Randleman. That will be in the Greensboro area. That is going to be our next tournament. Randleman is very straightforward for me. I normally run the dam. I don't know if you guys heard me when I was talking to Mr. Dan about it in Paul, but yeah, we normally launch over here. I think this is where the launch is. I don't remember where the launch is. Oh, poop. Where's the Randleman launch? Oh, gosh. It hasn't been that long since I've been here. I promise. Holy moly. I just know that I normally come down. Is it down here? Yeah, I normally come down here, but... oh, yeah. So here it is. So... this is normally where I launch on Randleman. I start here and then I come all the way down here to fish. I really enjoy this area. It's really dope. But we'll figure it out. I might have to switch it up based off of practice. But that's our next CCKF tournament. Our next CKA tournament is actually on Macintosh. Lake Mac. In Burlington. It was windy when Google Maps came in there. Oh yeah, it was super windy. Yeah, that water is getting washed. Mac, I think me and Sean will be heading up to the Guilford side for practice. Yeah, we'll be hitting the Guilford side for practice. I'm probably... depending on what I find, I don't want to, but I might go upriver. I do not want to, but I do know that there be river fish, and those river fish be rivering. I remember our buddy Hank, he went all the way. There is a old dirt road. I think that might be it right there. He was all the way up here, and there was a four-wheeler off-roading. No, it wasn't even a four-wheeler. It was an actual truck, and he went over like a sandbar in a four-wheeler, or in a 4x4 while he was fishing. That shit, like that is insane that he was in that much shallow of water fishing. So he went way up in there. But yeah, depending on what I can find on the main lake of practice will depend on what I fish for on Mac. This is normally my favorite run on Macintosh because of this place right here. There's a little old school light tower here, but you guys can see it right here. The channel comes in and just runs straight into it. You guys can see that sandbar right here that's being formed right there. That's the channel that comes right in there, and then it just like spools fish all in this area. Me and Ryan and Jayway had probably the most magical fishing moment. We caught about 20 fish in the last in an hour, in this one spot. Me and Ryan just kept cranking and getting them. Jayway was upset he wasn't catching fish. He was all the way up here, and he came running back when he saw us filling up on the leaderboard. And yeah, we were catching them. Freaking catching them. What else was there? I think that's it. Oh no, then we have Kayak Adventure Series up at the North Carolina Virginia border the following week. So that's going to be fun. Is that, yeah, it's up here. That's going to be the Roanoke. It's going to be Hyco. So it's the South Boston area. So you get Hyco, you get Mayo, you get the Roanoke, and then you get all these little rivers. All these little rivers that connect in between them. If there is some way connected to the Roanoke, the Dan's River, into Hyco and Mayo, you're able to fish them. Like, these are all open water for us to fish. They have a map of all the actual waters that we can sit in, but like, these are actual available water for us. Anything that's blue in here, if it connects to one of these lakes and or comes off of the Roanoke River, it's available. So that should be a pretty dope fishing event. I'm probably doing a team tournament with there's a team tournament, there's a single tournament, there's a micro bass tournament, and there's a couple other there's a smallmouth tournament. There's a couple of different tournaments going on all at once, but it should be a really cool deal. I'll keep you guys posted after the next tournament of how we're setting up for that. But yeah, so in 2 weeks, 2 weekends from now, we'll probably be out in Burlington for the Lake McIntosh, and then suiting up and getting ready for Virginia. So I don't think there's any more questions, man. I appreciate y'all for coming in. Appreciate y'all for chatting with me. I just wanted to get this recap in as quickly as possible while it's still fresh on the brain. I will talk to you guys probably during practice. We're still scheduling day. Might be Wednesday, might be Thursday. I gotta make sure work-wise I can even kind of move those days. But nonetheless, man, y'all have a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you're at, man. I appreciate y'all for coming in. And yeah, stay safe on the water. I'll talk to y'all later. Toodaloo!